We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
You are listening to The Underground Marketing Conspiracy, a secret ritual where entrepreneurs acquire highly classified and confidential business knowledge that the top 1% of income earners don't want you to know. And now, your host, Maddie Milligan.
What is going on, my fellow conspirator and conspirators? Welcome to another episode of The Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Woo! Now, today I want to talk to you about how to make your audience believe your claims. I see all sorts of people masquerading around, all these charlatans in their Lamborghinis and their Ferraris, which are located on a yacht in a mansion. So yeah, they're in their Lamborghini on a yacht in a mansion, and they're saying how they were just like you before. They were poor, they had no money, and then they found out about this awesome thing, and they magically became rich out of nowhere. And because of these internet marketers, these gurus, trust has become extremely finite online. So you, in your business, you're probably like, okay, I see all these people, all these claims they're making, and they're saying all these things, and how do I do that? Like, how do I get people to believe? How do I gain the trust of my audience and build rapport with them and create that bond? So the best way to get people to believe your claims is to, first of all, get some testimonials. This is one of the easiest things you can do, and they don't necessarily need to be related to exactly what you do. If you sell something that's a commodity, you can find other testimonials and case studies and use those. If you find research and scientific evidence proving your claims, then you can use those as case studies and testimonials. One way I like to do things is if it's a make money claim, for example, it's like, hey, look at this. If you'd invested this much, $10, you would have made $10,000, right? And it's like, wow, like that's 1,000 times more your money, right? Or I think that's 10,000 times your money, 1,000 times more your money. Again, I should not be doing math live. That's a terrible decision as always. But that's two pieces of claim. It's like, oh, look, you could have made this much money, but you could have also made this percentage as well. But you know what? Here's a graph that shows how much you made. That way it dimensionalizes it for people, right? They see you're taking one piece and one claim or one piece of proof and showing three different things to back it up, right? Because one piece, it's like, maybe that, maybe. But when they see multiple ones, like when you show three testimonials to really hit the point home and get people to believe, there's a certain point in a threshold where they're like, I think it's more unreasonable for them not to believe you than it is for you to make the claims, right? Especially when you have lots and lots and lots of testimonials. I've seen some where it just goes on and on and on and on. And I always like those working with a lot of these people who already have testimonials and case studies, because it makes my job so much easier, because I can even contact those people and ask them questions and get more information out of them. And of course, there's always going to be all sorts of fraudulent claims made online. There's always going to be all sorts of people making these insane claims about things, and that just makes it harder for you as a marketer for your business to actually come up with claims yourself, because you see what other people are doing. But you need to also make sure that your claims are honest. I was suggested to read this book called Charlatan recently, all right? And this is a book about this huckster who lived in the early 1900s by the name of John R. Brinkley. And he was one of America's most popular con men, and he was a surgeon, and he was actually a doctor, and he was arrested multiple times, and he was just absolutely audacious with a lot of the claims that he would make, and a lot of the things that he would do in his business were absolutely sketchy. But ultimately what this dude would do, believe it or not, is he found all this evidence saying that goats, like their milk and a lot of their organs, were beneficial for human beings. So he would implant some of their organs, their sexual organs specifically in these goats, in American men and women, right? And they would pay him to do this. And he would do it in a few of them, And then we'd go to them, we'd be like, hey, how do you feel now? And they would be like, oh, I feel amazing. One of the testimonials I've heard is absolutely the best testimonial I've ever heard. This guy is like, oh, I feel like I've lost 20 years. And it's taken a lot of the issues I had. It's like, oh, my inflammation is gone, right? My joints are working a lot better. My cardiovascular system is working better. Like, I'm not as hungry as I used to be. I've lost weight. It's all these ridiculous claims that this one testimonial has, and it worked for this guy forever, right? But health claims are one thing where you definitely need some sort of scientific evidence, obviously, and honestly, I've seen so many health companies where they're making these outrageous claims. It's like those ab machines that you see, right? People think that doing some sort of ab exercise is ultimately what's going to get them in shape. But realistically, probably fitness, nutrition, and all the other stuff that I talk about, like getting sunlight, getting in cold water, etc., that's realistically what's going to get you the healthiest, right? Not implanting goat testes in yourself like this charlatan did for 100 years. Did about 100 years ago. But with this proof, you can also use authorities, which is the same thing that this guy did, because he himself was a doctor. That already has authority, right? Cops have a lot of authority, right? When you see a cop, you're probably going to be like, oh, like, am I doing anything wrong? And you're going to stop dead in your tracks, right? Celebrities and endorsements like that, those work really well because those people have huge social proof and they're already an authority in their area. So when people look to them for advice, it's gonna be a lot more believable, right? I remember that there's this product called Proactiv, which is for acne, and it helps your skin blemishes, right? But they weren't doing so well, and there's all sorts of companies that sell the same solution that Proactiv is, but they managed to get Jessica Simpson to do a celebrity endorsement and testimonial for them. And then once they did that, their company absolutely exploded. And you just see that infomercial over and over and over again for a few years, making that same offer to just try it out, and ultimately led to a subscription plan as well, which just kept billing people every single month. There's another infomercial where I've seen with another authority, which again gives it more credibility that it works and more proof, where it's for these, I think it's these seal oil, like seal omega-3 oils. And sure enough, the host just happens to be Larry King, who is the most famous interviewer in the entire world that's probably ever existed. And he's interviewing these doctors. So right there, it's like one authority interviewing another. And again, that just gives it more inherent credibility right then and there. So whenever you are making claims, always back it up with minimum 3 pieces of proof. This is really what's going to break the false beliefs in people, right? And one of the ways that I structure some of my copy most of the time is I'll make a list of objections, and then for each objection that I have in front of me, I'll take it, and then again, I'll make a claim, I'll back it up with proof, and then I'll show the benefit in it. And by doing that 3-step process after the objection, that basically just overcomes their false belief right then and there. The way that that's structured, again, it's like, hey, you're probably thinking this, right? Well, you know what? Here's my claim that overcomes that. In fact, here's 3 pieces of evidence that show that. And here's the benefit you're going to get from this one specific element. And again, people are like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? And that just shows that you're aware of stuff as well. But to get people to believe, like, you really need to show them social proof. You need to show them authority. You need to show them research that actually proves it. But I found that the best thing in the world, again, is really case studies broken down for people step by step when it shows them the beginning to end. That's a good one. But testimonials are your best bet, right? It needs to be a good testimonial. It needs to be legit. Don't go out, buy fake reviews and fake testimonials. That's the fastest way to failure ever. You need to have legitimate testimonials. You need to collect these. And if you have a list, it's pretty straightforward to get a lot of these elements. You just need to email your list, ask them a couple of basic questions, and there might be some people who are upset, and then again, give those to your customer service team. They can handle those from there. But when you get those positive ones where it's like, oh man, I absolutely love this product, those are the ones that you use in your campaigns, right? and always be collecting testimonials. This comes, I think, too, when you just naturally have a good product. It makes it a lot easier. So if you have a service that has a value for people, and it works very quickly, they're going to do this very quickly. Some ways people like to collect testimonials is like have a discount as their upfront offer. So it's like, we'll knock off a certain amount if you sign up right now. That's one way to do it. I haven't really done that much, to be honest. I haven't needed to ever. It's something where people either ask to give testimonials, or when I ask them to, they just do it, right? And as you scale too, it's something where once you find those people who are your dream customers and you want to get more of them, it might be something where you fly out to them or you fly them out to you, and then again, you hire a video team and create a really high quality video. And again, that becomes your biggest marketing asset. You can use a lot of this stuff for retargeting. And again, there's a threshold where people, if they see like 100 testimonials or even 1,000 and they still don't believe you, chances are they're never going to believe anyone, right? They're very skeptical people as it is. And to be honest, I'm very skeptical, right? I'm hard to sell things. For me, it takes a lot of convincing, and I need to have all of those elements of proof before I actually invest in something myself. So you, as a business owner, as a smart, savvy entrepreneur, I would recommend, again, getting proof to back up all of your stuff, and that is the surest path to get people to believe you. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I would recommend going back and listening to several episodes, not just one. Listen to 5 back to back to back. In fact, there's a playlist on YouTube where you can go back and listen to every single episode from the beginning. And if you are liking what you're listening to, consider subscribing as well, considering leaving a review of the podcast. Maybe you're listening to this on iTunes or on Spotify. Leave a review and maybe even share this with a friend or family member or someone you know that has a business as well. My name is Matty Milligan, and I will see you next time on another episode of the Underground Marketing Conspiracy. Ooh.